In life, we all make mistakes. We make poor choices and bad decisions. We do things that just aren't smart or very unwise. We do things that are ungodly, sinful things that break the heart of God. And you're going to have people in your church who come seek your advice, seek your wisdom, and sometimes they're seeking your help to get out of a situation. And that happened to me many years ago. A woman in our church who I was very good friends with, very supportive of her and her children. She'd made a really bad decision when she was younger. She hooked up with a guy, moved in with the guy. They had children out of wedlock. They never married. She stayed in a relationship with him. He was not supportive. He eventually became abusive, both verbally and physically. And there just came a point where she feared for her safety, even her life, and she feared for the safety of her children. And so she made the decision that she was going to leave him, but she knew that she couldn't just leave. He would never let her just walk away. And so this sounds like a plot out of a movie, but this is a real story. She drafted a plan to escape, to run away. And she called me and said, "Hey, this is what's happening. I'm going to leave him, but I have to escape." And so she'd already put some things into motion, and she shared the plan with me. And she asked me, "Would you help me leave him? Would you help me run away?" They only had one vehicle, so she had no transportation. And so she needed a driver, and she really wanted a man there, just in case something went sideways. And so we talked. Sat down, talked with my senior pastor. I sat down, talked with my wife, and kind of went over the plan. And I agreed to help this woman escape her abuser. And so the plan was simply kids would get up, get on the bus, go to school. He would take her to work. He would drop her off. I would be waiting in the parking lot. As soon as he left, I would pick her up. We'd return to their place of residency. She would grab the bare necessities, throw them in my vehicle. I would deliver her to a safe place, and then we would pick up the kids from school and deliver them to that same safe place. Here's the reality of that situation. Even though that plan was well drafted and things had already been set into motion, the safe house knew she was coming. Everybody was on the same page. The variable in that, the unknown, was the man. He was bigger than me, meaner than me. We already knew he had a history of violence. And so I made a phone call to the police department. I let them know what was happening, kind of the timeline, the plan, so that they would be prepared if I needed to make a phone call for backup and support. I sat down with this woman and explained, this man is violent. He's bigger than me, and I just don't know, if I had to confront him, how that would go. And so I let her know that I would have my Louisville Slugger baseball bat in my vehicle with me. And, if there was a confrontation and I felt fearful for my safety or her safety, I would have to take action. And so the plan went as planned. I picked her up, took her back. She was locked in and gathering her stuff. I'm sitting there waiting for her. We're going as quickly as we can. And then the unknown happened. For no reason at all, this guy showed back up. He should have been at work. He shouldn't have been back at home. He pulled up. He saw me. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I had to explain to him that she's in there packing, that she's leaving you. He got instantly angry and started towards the door. I had to physically put myself between this very angry man and the front door. I'm trying to talk him down. I'm calling the police. The police told me that until a physical altercation happened, that they would not be sending a cruiser. And so, it's me and this very angry, violent man on the front step, and this very terrified woman locked in, you know, kind of listening through the door as to what's happening. I was able to talk him down. I told him the best thing to do would be to leave, and, we can sort this out later. He sat in his car for what seemed an eternity. He smoked a cigarette or two, calmed himself down. He eventually left. As soon as he left, I text her. I'm like, we got to go now. We jumped in the vehicle. He did not follow us. I made sure we were not followed, and I delivered her to the safe house. We then went and got the kids, got them out, got them to the safe house. It kind of has a happy ending in the fact that they stayed separated. He left her alone. He went his separate way. She has, had a pretty good life. She kept her job, worked her way up, was able to secure a place for her and her kids. So that part is the happy ending. She stayed in church. Her kids are still in church. But that's something I never knew I would be doing as a pastor. Never read a book on it, never read a magazine article on it. No professor, no pastor, nobody ever said, hey, Jeremy, there may come a day that you have to step in and help a woman escape her abuser. This was a scared, terrified woman. She had a really good relationship with me. She trusted me, and so she sought the help of her pastor. I will be honest, I never thought, I would be in that kind of a situation. I never thought I would be carrying a baseball bat, and have to have a conversation with a woman that, hey, if this guy turns violent, there may be a confrontation. I never thought I'd have to call the police and giving them an escape plan and asking for potential backup. But this is the ugly, messy, sinful, painful part of ministry, because we work with people, and people are sinners, and people make poor choices, and people get desperate, and people need help. And sometimes it's just a conversation in your office, and you speak wisdom into them, you speak truth into them, you share the gospel with them, you point them in the direction, you resource them, you get them other people who can step in and help. And sometimes it's this. It's physically being involved in an escape plan. I hope you never have to face this, but the reality is you may. It was probably 2 years after this occurrence that I found myself talking to another woman in my church who was going to leave and escape, and asked, would you be there? Would you be on the property while I load up? Would you follow me and as I drive to my safe house? And that escape went much smoother. But who would have thought that I would have been helping two different women escape violent relationships? And so again, I just want you to know what may happen. I want you to have eyes wide open. I hope and pray that these never happen to you, but they might. And so be prepared, because you never know when somebody calls you or knocks on your office door exactly what their need is or what they're going to ask for. Hey, I love you, and I hope you're enjoying these videos, and I hope as you go through ministry that you're doing it with eyes wide open. See you next time.